Significant other irrational behavior with ex-wife. English is not my first language. Backstory, me, F38, and my SO significant other, M54, met 7 years ago at a work function. He was married with 2 boys, 10 and 14 at the time. I was single with no kids. We became close friends and after some time lovers. He confided in me that he was unhappy in his marriage, and was planning on leaving his wife when his kids were older. I fell in love with him and decided to wait for him to exit his marriage. 2 years into our affair we got caught and I expected everything to go nuclear in one way or another. Things were difficult for some time. His wife was understandably heartbroken but she agreed not to tell the boys about the affair. Out of respect for his children and their mother we agreed to lay low for about a year before going public. SO introduced me to his boys after about a year. It was difficult for them at first to see their dad happy with a new girlfriend, but we managed to eventually get along okay. About 3 years ago we bought a house and were planning on getting married. The boys came to visit often. Things were going great for us, or so I thought. The issue, my SO ex-wife had a rough time dealing with the fallout and him leaving. She was a stay-home mom with a time-part job. From what I understand she had some health issues that made her gain weight. She was depressed and isolated. The first year after the breakup she would call my SO constantly crying, send long emails and heartfelt texts begging for another chance to unite their family. My SO was get-ridden but never engaged with her outside the issues regarding the divorce and their boys. He said he made a choice, he loved me, that he regrets the hurt he has caused her, and the boys but it was already done and all he could do is look forward and not backward. One day the ex-wife just stopped calling and emailing. She asked SO to co-parent through a parenting app. He never saw her since his oldest son could now drive and if he for some reason had to go to her house to pick up his youngest son she was not around. It was such a relief. His oldest son told us that his mom was seeing a therapist and getting into meditation, yoga, being more physically active, adventures etc. She got a full-time job within her field and seemed happy. About a year ago his youngest son started bringing up Uncle D in conversations. Uncle D was one of my SO best friends. He completely cut contact with my SO after the affair was out. My SO confided in him after we got caught and his friend was furious. He has not seen or spoken to him since. It turns out that Uncle D and SO ex-wife are now in a serious relationship. Around the time the news broke I also found out I was pregnant. After the revelation my SO seemed off but I just figured it was stress at work. He changed jobs. Then he started coming home drunk. Always on his phone. Completely out of character. 6 months ago I got a call from him from the police station asking me to pick him up. Apparently he showed up at this ex-wife's house drunk and got into a fight with his former friend. He accused his ex-wife of cheating with his former best friend and punched him. He had a mental breakdown. It was insane. My SO is a calm and non-violent person. It was like he had a head transplant. His whole personality changed and he seemed obsessed with his ex-wife and former friend, stalking their social media, where he is now blocked, asking his kids and family members what the two of them are up to etc. He agreed to see a therapist and is still going. It has now been 6 months. We have a son now that is a few months old. I thought this would get better and help us move forward but honestly things are still rocky. I feel that his heart is no longer in this relationship and I am thinking about leaving. But how do I leave? I love him and I have a baby to worry about now. I want us to be a family. I understand all the hurt we have caused and the road has not been easy but we made it so far and for him to just go this route just does not make any sense. WTF? Is he acting like this out of guilt? Regret? Is he jealous? Update. Well, it's over. We are separating. He is moving out in a few months and is sleeping in a separate room. We will need to sell the house and make arrangements for visitation. I feel drained, heartbroken and confused. A friend suggested I snoop through his electronics. Did not find anything on his laptop or phone. He took a day off work to help his son move and left his work computer. I decided to check that one too and bingo. Opened the internet tab to look at browsing history and got automatically logged onto his email account. Email and upon email sent to his ex-wife starting about 3 years ago and to his former friend about 6 months ago. I am telling you guys, Romeo has nothing on this guy and guess what? The ex-wife did only reply a few times to kindly tell him to fuck off into oblivion. He was begging her to take him back, saying how he made the biggest mistake of his life and that she was the love of his life. The sun and the moon is rising in her ass according to this 50-plus-year-old love-sick puppy. How pathetic is that? The former friend however gave him a good dose of reality and called him out on his bullshit. I was in shock. Took my boy to my dad's and stayed the night. Left the boy with my dad the next day and went back home to confront him. Printed out some emails and had it all prepared. After all, if this man knows anything, it is how to lie through his teeth. Expected him to deny or to at least defend himself, say he was not thinking straight, beg for forgiveness. To my surprise, he was calm and collected, did not deny anything and answered all my questions straight. He said he loves me but is not in love with me, not sure if he ever was. Probably infatuated. Said the death of a family member woke him up to realize he lost his family and friends. Learning his ex-wife was moving on with her life opened up his eyes to all the pain and devastation he caused. Therapy made him strip down his defenses, examine his choices and coping skills. He thinks he had a midlife crisis and it went too far. Said he wanted to be a better man and earn his ex-wife's forgiveness by being a more present father to their sons to make up for all the hurt he caused day by day. Said he was truly and deeply sorry for hurting me, that I deserved a man who fully loved me and that he regrets wasting so many years of my life. Said he loves our son and will always be there for him as an involved father. Wanted to tell me before I got pregnant but decided to wait until our son was older. There is so much more but this is it in a nutshell. I feel dumb and used, heartbroken and confused. Angry. So fucking angry. But there are better days ahead, I am sure of it. I just wish I was not part of his midlife crisis joke. How pathetic that a 50-plus-year-old man does not know his mind. How will I ever learn to trust another man again? Comment. This is who he always was. The problem is, you really felt that he was going to be different with you. Chances are, if you showed signs of moving on, he'd be on you like white on rice. Going forward, stay away from these men that are already in relationships. If they do it with you, they'll do it to you. O.P. Yes, you are so very right. I read somewhere that best predicament of future behavior is past behavior. So true. I see him clearly now and the blinders are off. And as for starting up something with a married man or anyone for that matter in a committed relationship again. Never again. I was so naive. Now I know better. Comment. I'm so sorry, what a huge piece of shit he is. I guess the good part is that you discovered it now and not in 10 years. You have your whole life ahead of you, and I think the fact that you already have a child could even reduce some of the pressure when it comes to finding new love. O.P. Having my son is a blessing. Imagine having to start over approaching 40 and finding someone who wanted kids. Comment. Wanted to tell me before I got pregnant but decided to wait until our son was older. This makes me so damn angry. What a piece of crap. I'm sorry. As to how will you trust another man? I think you've been baptized by fire. I doubt you'll ever find yourself in a similar situation. You know the signs. I'm surprised he's leaving. Leaving where? For what? Who else would take him? What a show of a man. O.P. replied. Someone asked for me to provide more details but honestly there is so much and I am not sure which details are relevant to tell this story. In short, to answer some of your questions. He is planning on renting an apartment until our house sells, and then he will probably buy something close to us, me and son. That is his only concrete plan for now. As far as I am aware he does not have anyone waiting for him, but how can I be sure knowing what I know this man being capable of? He said he was tired of all the lies and that he could hardly look his older sons in the eyes. If his sons found out about the affair their relationship would never be the same. He said he knows that it is unrealistic for him and his ex-wife to get back together, and he has no intention on pursuing her further. But he does want to make amends for all the hurt he has caused his family, by starting to become the man he was before we got together. Someday he might even come clean to his sons and take responsibility for his actions. He is hoping his ex-wife will someday forgive him and at least consider being his friend. As for me, he wants us to be co-parents and he hopes one day I will forgive him as well and be his friend. Makes my blood boil. Why would I want a friend like him? He will give me portion of the profit from the house once it sells and will be generous paying child support. I will get the car. 7 years and I get some money, a child to raise and a car. Oh, and a friend, if I am forgiving that is. Wow. Right now I am raging with emotions on all spectrums. I am desperate for answers but don't even know what the F to ask. I guess I am lucky that he is willing to answer my questions. His ex-wife, whom he blindsided and left with 2 teenage boys and a half-built house in the burbs got mostly stonewalled. So there is that. Comment. Damn, that took a bad turn. Doesn't he know his ex isn't gonna take him back at all? So what's the damn point of leaving you then? O.P. replied. Oh, he knows he burnt that bridge into oblivion. She has cut all communication with him and is happy with her new life. Good for her. The point of leaving me. Don't think there is a point really. I even asked if this could perhaps be his second midlife crisis. I mean, how many midlife crises do people go through? Comment. If they do it with you, they'll do it to you. I hate that you had to learn that this way and I hope moving forward that you realize you deserve a whole and free man from the get-go. O.P. replied. Oh yes, I am staying away from married men in the future. If one I happen to like makes a move and tells me how unhappy he is in his dead marriage, I will tell him to come back when his divorce is final and we will see where this goes. Little off topic, but do you guys ever think about the term dead marriage? I mean, my ex told me the sob story of him and his wife living separate lives, never time for each other, little to no boring sex, roommate type of arrangement, etc. When I listened to that I first thought, wow, what a horrible way to live. Now with a baby, sleep deprivation and tiredness, I can truthfully tell you that we do live separate lives. We don't have sex often and when we do it is fucking boring. And we are partners trying to get through the day-to-day challenges raising a child. There is very little to no time for us to take a glass of red wine in the evening to decompress. This might fall under the definition of a dead marriage to him. What BS he has been telling me. His first marriage was never dead. His wife was barely keeping her head over the water while he was sleeping another woman. She did not kill it. He did. OMG. I have so much to unpack here. Sorry for the rant.